G'day everyone, my name's Connor. In this video I'll be sharing pertinent points of the IUCN Guidelines for Reintroductions and other conservation translocations, as well as relating it to the practice of rewilding. In this presentation I'll be focusing on definitions, usage, planning, feasibility, risk assessment and implementation, as well as the concept of rewilding. The guidelines posit translocation as an overarching term, defining it as the human-mediated movement of living organisms from one area with release in another. Within translocation, the guidelines define two subcategories, being population restoration and conservation introduction. Population restoration includes reintroduction and reinforcement, while conservation introduction includes assisted colonization and ecological replacement. The guidelines also suggest when it is appropriate to utilize a translocation. Integral parts of determining this are that the translocation has intended benefits, a high degree of supporting evidence, and clearly defined goals. The guidelines also put forth important planning and feasibility considerations. Under the guidelines, the continuous monitoring of a translocation as well as an exit strategy is essential. Practitioners must also consider the biological and social feasibility, the regulatory compliance, as well as the availability of resources when planning a translocation. The final sections of the guidelines present information on how to manage risk and implement a translocation. This includes categorizing risk, selecting release sites, strategy for release, and correct dissemination of information. One evident missing term in the guidelines is rewilding. The IUCN have recently given a definition of the term, which you can see here. Prominent projects labelled as rewilding, such as the Oostvaardersplassen in the Netherlands and the case study for this week, the NEP Wildland project in the United Kingdom, diverge somewhat from the IUCN guidelines discussed above. For example, while the NEP estate does have constant monitoring, the manufactured ecosystem is left to correct by itself. The project also does not have clear goals, operating as an open-ended experiment. Cheers guys, thanks for listening, and I look forward to the discussion in this week's tutorial.